First flight of the orbiter Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Welcome to the Health or High Water Podcast.
Welcome to the Health or High Water Podcast. Happy Tuesday, you guys. Hope you're doing great out there. I'm Brett Hutari. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Trip Parks. And we have a very special guest. I'm super excited for this episode. As you know, we talk about everything health and fitness related, but now we have a pretty cool opportunity to cross over into some interesting realms. Nicole Hemming is here. Nicole, how are you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us. Aside from having a pretty cool story, she is the owner of Relax and CBD.
Yes.
Which has exploded in the last few years. And I was just going to pass it over to you. I want you to give yourself a little introduction and tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, your background, and what CBD is and kind of what got you into it, and to just tell a little bit of your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was 26 years old, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And they had to take out my thyroid, parathyroid, and all the lymph nodes on the left side of my neck. And then what had happened after that was the doctors had just had me on so many different meds. I was so sick all the time. I was a single parent of 2 daughters. I wasn't functioning as a human. And so I went ahead, and I had always kind of tinkered in doing like bath bombs and different things like that. So then that was around the time that CBD was becoming legal, but still nobody was really using it. And I was adding it into my product, and it was working really well for me. And I started using it for friends and family, and just continued to grow to where 5 years ago, this September 18th, it'll be 5 years officially. I will turn, we turned into an actual business. And in the past 5 years, we've grown exponentially. We have 3 international awards through Global Health and Pharma. Our first ones were we were the purveyor of the soy massage candle. So we were literally the first company to come out with a CBD soy massage candle. And we were also the top CBD manufacturer in all USA.
What's a soy massage candle? What is that?
So the soy massage candle, it's great. So it actually has 2 different parts to it. You can use it as a topical salve, so just like a pain cream, and just rub your fingers over the top. It emulsifies really quickly underneath just the heat of like your just natural body temp. Or what you can do is light the wick. It's not for smell. They do smell amazing, but it's not for smell. You get just your desired amount of melted oil. You blow out the wick, and the heat from the candle helps to more deeper penetrate those muscles.
So some of these the old school candles are not good for you, right? They're putting
off.
Okay.
Exactly. They're burning things that they shouldn't. Everything that we have it's soy wax, all organic, like materials and stuff, like everything inside of it. We use nothing but the best products. So when you're doing it, plus, like I said, you don't have it for the smell like other candles where it's like burning and you're just sitting in the scent for forever.
Yeah.
But no, none of our stuff has any of that stuff. And like I said, we are backed by the medical community because it was through Global Health and Pharma. So they're even saying it's a great product. And then last year we actually won. We moved up, and we are actually the top CBD manufacturer in all North America. So we picked up Canada and Mexico. And in this entire time, we've actually, which is what I was telling Kim since Trip, while we were waiting for Trip and stuff, which been really great is during COVID, we were considered an essential business. So I was still able to stay open and keep my employees around. And so what I did was I needed to kind of rework different things, figure out where we can be at. So we started getting into things like Ace Hardware's, True Values, Murdoch, because those were all considered essential businesses and stuff. And they put us in the what is it called now? I can't remember the section. The
impulse.
Yeah,
buy.
the impulse. The impulse section to try to bring in more of the female buyer. And we learned a lot of the males were actually using certain topicals of ours, like because they were essential workers and they needed stuff. And so we just kept growing from there. We also got into Marriott-owned hotels and spas. So like the Gaylords and stuff. So we're in tons of different like spas and like nail places and just different things across the entire country. But then we started partnering with really amazing people. We've actually partnered with Jeff Holden. He won last year. This is our second year with him. He races for Trans Am West by Pirelli. So we are in a race car, and he won the whole thing last year. So we're rooting for him again this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm pretty excited about that. Then we've also partnered with Donovan McNabb. He's a retired NFL quarterback. And so we're really excited about that. And we partnered on our main pain cream. And what's been great about that is since the first of this year, we've actually been on the NASDAQ billboard in Times Square 10 times for just that product alone. We are those annoying commercials that you can't move forward through on streaming things. So we've actually been in over 35,000 commercials since the first of the year for just that. And then we've since partnered with a local fighter here. He fights for UFC and MMA, Austin Jones. So yeah, we've got Austin on board now. And then we also have Tony Rose. She's in the top 7% of creators for OnlyFans. She endorses one of our specific lines is our Risque line that is infused with pheromones. Nice. So yeah,
I love
that one's a lot of fun. So she's doing that. So yeah.
I absolutely love it. Now, anyone listening for a job, that's how you write a good resume.
I'm just always like busy and doing stuff, and you got different ideas, and you just keep moving.
So go into like you kind of touched on you were diagnosed with cancer. You went through that whole event. Is that kind of what? Is that what spurred all this idea and like kind of what drove it?
I knew that all this stuff was making me so sick, and I wasn't going to accept that that's how my life was. I was 26 years old. Like I wasn't going to accept that I was going to be sick for so many more years. Like that wasn't an option. And with just researching and learning about all the health properties, and that's what people don't understand is that. So, and this is what I was telling him as well, too, and stuff. If you actually look at the 1910 $10 bill on the back, you actually see these crops that are on fire, and they're cannabis crops. And what they were doing was Big Pharma was coming in, and they're trying to take away, all the Eastern medicine, all that kind of stuff. They want to do any sort of plant medicine, any of that, and all the lobbyists came in and were finding ways to make it bad, give it a bad name, a bad rep and stuff. And
Reefer Madness came from that, right?
Yeah, Reefer Madness, yes, all that. And it's actually really sad because what we've learned since then is that we actually have a cannabinoid system where we have hundreds of thousands of receptors both inside and outside. And you have to think of cannabis, and it doesn't have to be THC, because my entire product line is THC free. It's all CBD. Anybody could take it any age, because that was what we were also talking about, is that I don't believe that there should be a certain age limit for it, that like it needs to really help people. And you have to kind of look at it almost like a daily vitamin, like you would something else. You're replenishing your cannabinoid system, and it's doing so many amazing things for people on so many different levels.
Well, it's I'm glad you said it. So like we're the only species that has a CB1 and CB2 receptor.
Yes.
The only species, right? And the ironic thing about our ancestors is, and what I've learned to read, you guys can fact check me on this, is cannabis is the only plant on all 6 continents that aren't Antarctica. Right?
Yes.
So we use it as a food source. It's the same reason that we're using hemp proteins and whatnot.
Right.
Too.
Well, that's actually why our animals too, they actually have, that's why like you can give like dogs, cats, horses, CBD, because they have a cannabinoid system just like us. And it's just like them. Like that's why all of us have it, because they did use it. It's so high in nutrients. It's high in all this amazing stuff. And it's as if we've taken it away out of like their entire stuff, like their entire cannabinoid system. They've taken it away from our cannabinoid system, and it really has done us an injustice.
Well, that's just big pharma and politics getting in the
Yes,
way of our
it's
own health and wellness.
Awful.
What's the deal with like not the government, but like the medical industry, doctors, pharmacists? They are recommending a lot of pills, right? Pill for this, pill for that.
Right.
Where's it at now as far as like, are they recommending CBD? CBD has incredible benefits. I've seen it. You've obviously, your company has exploded.
Mm-hmm.
It's a testament to the great work you're doing. So
Thank
has the medical industry, have they given way to this? Are they now like pointing people in this direction?
Well, it depends. It depends on who you talk to. So, I actually attend college. For 2 different ones and stuff that are accredited cannabis colleges and stuff, just because I enjoy hearing the science, just everything, because I want to be 100% like a specialist inside this field. I want to be able to answer questions and do everything. And we do work with a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses where they are for it. There are a lot of people that are still, though, against it. Mm-hmm. And I recently went in to try to donate a kidney to my business partner, who's a very close friend. And I am put on the back burner. It's not that I couldn't do it. Their main thing was, because of course I'm going to be honest with them, I do cannabis and stuff, both CBD, everything else, but due to the fact that I won't take any hardcore narcotics after surgery, which I've had plenty of surgeries where I just don't do that. But they put me on the back burner because they were worried about my withdrawal from cannabis. And I can't help a close friend, and I'm put on the back burner because they're worried about that. But I don't drink alcohol, I don't do any of that, and it's because of my cancer treatments. It killed the microbiome in my gut. So there's a lot of things that I am very allergic to and I can't do, so that alcohol being one of them. But somebody else could be drinking alcohol or taking all these pills or doing all these things, even things that they could potentially have actual withdrawals from because of the chemicals released into their brain. And they're telling me from doing a natural product and being open about it, that's kind of like a thing that I can't help a friend out, or I'm backburnered just in case the other ones don't work out.
You were donating a kidney?
A kidney. Wow. Yeah, actually doing it for a friend. So
well, the fact that it's still demonized the way it is,
it's awful,
especially across a bunch of these southern states too. I'm just picking on a few, especially like North Carolina. I was like, you guys are struggling as farmers and stuff. Why can't you accept this as a crop, cash crop? And
it's not even just North Carolina; it's South Carolina.
It's
all over there. Well, and so my sister actually lives right outside of Charlotte, and they have her. She's got so many medical issues, and it breaks my heart. And I keep trying to get her to do different things. And she's like, well, my doctor says I shouldn't do, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you are killing me. And my sister is having seizure after seizure after seizure. And I was like, I'm done. And so I shipped her over a bunch of our products so that when she's starting to have those and everything else, here, take this. And it's helped her so much, but it's still she's very nervous about things because things that she's being told by her doctor. And I've even asked her, are you asking is your doctor getting more money from pushing these prescribed pills, or is that really their views? You need to have open communication with your doctor, and it's okay to fire them if you don't feel comfortable. It's okay to get a second opinion from another person.
Yeah, I get sick of the money in health and wellness. Yes. This whole podcast, our ideas, we've had some incredible people on, but when you start to follow the money, dating back to, you talked about the marijuana thing back in, what was it,
1910 $10 bill.
And there was that whole campaign about that just demonized this. And, before the podcast, we talked about the pharmaceutical industry and the corruption that's involved in there. And so when you're looking at somebody who's being incentivized to recommend a particular type of drug, you know what I mean? Your prices, so your highest priced product is what?
$35.
$35.
$35
For how many
It's
different
that's for our pain cream that we have with Donovan McNabb. That one, like a little bit goes a long way. I think the soon as somebody's actually come back to me for one of those products, it has been our athletes that use it for all their either post training, different things like that. And that's been like, I think 2.5, almost 3 months for something like that. And if you can pay something as little as that for an all natural good product that is still backed by health and pharma globally and stuff, where you get everybody's like opinions, whether they're for it, whether against it, I'm still ranked the top one because that's our whole backing, is that it needs to be made affordable and good and not go through really quickly.
Well, one of the best parts about all this is, so we really preach up, downstream thinking.
Yeah.
Start upstream. Let's figure out the problem at the top so it doesn't come out to be a worse problem down the road. Right. And one of the cool things about cannabis and CBD as a whole is there are so many uses for it.
Yes.
Inflammation, painkillers. I use it for my stomach all the time. It helps me crazy amount with my stomach.
It's great for like stomach issues like IBS and gastrointestinal issues and inflammation.
Well, that's exactly what it is. The inflammation.
Bowel,
Exactly. And the fact that it could take over probably 25, 30, 50 medications on the top of my head right now. It could replace it. It scares pharma. And if they could keep people sick, why not? And I was a victim of that in college. I was taking 5 different stomach medications, and 4 of them were from side effects from the first one.
Oh yes,
it is a business model that developed out of a machine, right? The American Medical Association and had these doctors, and they were all making money because they had these companies that, we got a pill for this, we have a pill for this. They became customers. It was like a natural. So now you come out with, something that's cheap.
Yeah.
Something that's affordable,
and it actually works.
Has no psychoactive effects.
No psychoactive. Zero.
So,
we're
THC-free. You're saying you can give this to kids?
Kids. My kids. So we inside our house, we normalize cannabis. It is not a demonized thing at all. My kids range from, my youngest one's 12. She'll be 13 on Christmas, all the way up to 23. Every single one of them takes topicals, edibles, any of that stuff. We've pretty much weaned out any sort of Tylenol, ibuprofen inside the house. They've got aches from sports training. They've got headaches, usually because my son's playing his guitar too loud or any of that stuff. It's yeah, right. I'm like, go take an edible, like pick one. But not only that, my kids, it's so amazing and stuff because my youngest daughter, she's doing a lot of dental things right now too because she was born a super preemie. And so it's actually helping her airwaves because she was being tested for all this stuff. So she's got all this stuff going on. And she's getting better as she's getting older as we're doing that stuff. But one of the big things is that it's really made her sleep deprivation insane. Like she just does not sleep normal. So one of the things that we did expand on, because CBD is a major cannabinoid, you're taking everything from the plant and stuff and you go in there. But we also are doing things with our product where we're specializing in the minor cannabinoids like CBG, CBN, CBV, CBA. There's tons of them. And I'm sure you guys have heard different things like I was talking about with my sister, ones that stop seizures, ones that do different things like that. Sure. And we have a line that has not only CBG, which aids in calmness, so it helps with the panic, the anxiety, which is what I originally started formulating because of my not having the lack of thyroid and stuff, so it's helping me with that. But her CBN helps her sleep, and it's not using a pharmaceutical med. It's not melatonin because you can actually get used to melatonin to where you have to keep upping it. There's no groggy sense, anything else. It's all natural.
Do you have on your labels, so somebody gets it, how do they know, okay, take it once in the morning, take it once at night, how does that work?
Everything's labeled. And that is definitely one thing that I tell people is that if you take any CBN at all, whatever product, does not matter, any CBN, just know if you're going to ingest it, usually it takes anywhere from an hour to 2 hours for your gut to start digesting it and for it to kick in. That one, your receptors really cling on. I tell people that to be not do not drive the moment that you take it, but expect upwards of an hour and be near a bed. Because usually within 20 minutes, I'm like nodding off and I don't mean to. It's the weirdest thing.
Have a couch nearby.
Right. You're like, I just need
I
a
need
crash.
this product.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's so many uses and possibilities.
So many uses.
Right, and back to that is I mean, there's some uses for it, so it's such a danger to the pharmaceutical company.
It really is,
right?
yeah.
It's a danger, and I think they pushed it. They know that this wave is coming either way.
Yeah.
And they've been pushing it off as hard as they can.
Yeah.
With everything. I'm seeing more and more anti-pot stuff than I've seen even the beginning of 2000.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
You have?
Oh yeah. Dude.
Oh yeah.
Really?
It's like they're trying to like demonize that again, and then also the other things like the microdosing with the psilocybin, the mushrooms and everything else and stuff like that one right there. They're really trying to demonize that, but there's so many people pushing back, and if the government is legalizing in certain states, like look at like Seattle and everything else where they're like saying like, nope, everything's I think like a misdemeanor now or something. Like you can have fentanyl, any of that stuff. You don't get in trouble. You cannot fight back with the other things that like you just can't, because people choose not to take those pharmaceutical meds.
Yeah, it's a tool. It's an incredible tool, but you know, you can abuse anything. You can
really
abuse
can,
alcohol. You can abuse, and so I think, you know, the people who are abusing, we all know like the stoner that's you know is at home smoking, getting nothing done. But then again, like I said, it's a tool, so it's totally up to the user on how you use it. You can use CBD or however it is to benefit your life, and that's how I always talk about things. We have these tools, these medicines. Let's segue into plant medicine in general. What other? This is from a plant.
Yeah.
What other plant medicines are you going to get into? Any other plant medicines with your company? Like how?
Oh no, we're definitely doing the psilocybin.
Okay.
So we are absolutely getting into that and stuff. That one right there is a matter of doing things. So that one will, I'm guessing, be more like a 21 plus one, because it does have a psychoactive. But with that being said, even in our new Risque line, how we've got our sex chocolates coming out, mushrooms just in general are so amazing. And one of the things that we're adding into our stuff with that, not only will you have the CBD, you'll have ashwagandha mushroom and stuff, because that helps your libido and do everything else. So mushrooms in general are amazing, but absolutely, I really want to help, because I have been talking and working with a lot of addiction specialists, because they actually utilize CBD for a lot of their stuff, not necessarily with the THC, but with all the CBD, because as people are coming off withdrawal, it's really helping their symptoms, and it's super positive. So then the way that after you fried all your receptors, they're trying to reteach you and all your receptors to release that natural like DMT and everything else like going on in your brain. And when you use it in a specific way where you're not doing it all the time, just to have like this, you know, whole stones thing and everything's all crazy, you can microdose it, and you do things like 3-2 or 4-2, where it's like a specific amount of days on, a specific amount of days off. You do it short term for like a 2-week time frame. It just redoes those receptors in your brain. So absolutely, because it's just going to continue helping people that really need it. But that one, unfortunately, will most likely probably stay 21 plus.
Where's legislation with that?
I mean, really right now and stuff, you've got them who they're pretty much like the beginning of cannabis, where it was medical only and stuff, and then they're slowly opening up to like recreational and doing things like that. That's pretty much where they're at right now. So it's like medical. Yes, we could do it, and we're slowly going to start getting into the recreational portion of it. But like I said, anybody that has any PTSD, any just real problems, like even things like where you feel bad about yourself, anything else, it just redoes all those receptors, and you just think so much more positive, and like life really is beautiful. Like it's a great thing.
I had a client at a different place, and had a client of mine. Had a client of mine at a different facility, and she had severe PTSD. She was a banker, and somebody came in and robbed the bank. And I want to say she was the manager or something. And, you know, the guy had a gun, and it was a big ordeal. And for her, it was completely traumatic. And so
Yeah.
she started making her own mushrooms or
Yeah.
psilocybin, and she would preach the benefit of it like nonstop, and to her it was a huge life changer on managing that
Absolutely.
PTSD.
Well, I think the fact that we're being told, especially these past decades, hey, do not take plant medicine. It's not as good for you as pills. And then there's a lot of people like that are taking risks and have taken risks.
Yeah.
To like, hey, I'll try anything. Anything to get myself better. And those people are the reasons we have what we have.
Yeah. Well, and it's just getting better. Like, one of the things, I have not done it. I have psychotically looked into it, and this is 100% something that will absolutely be in my near future. I really want to go to a facility and do DMT really bad and stuff, because it helps people, just the different research things that the scientists have done, the doctors, like people who, because sometimes the psilocybin absolutely does help. It does everything and stuff. But that's why you have to do microdoses, a couple times a year, anywhere like every 3 to 6 months, depending on like where you're at. Whereas like DMT, it helps people with the depression, the different things for insane amounts of time. And they've showed the levels, your endorphin levels just continue to rise. And it's just, it's very inspiring. And just to have a bunch of happy people around versus like negative, angry people, I'm like, it makes a better world.
I love happy people.
It's like, I love happy
people. I literally will
people.
surround myself with happy people as much as physically possible.
Yeah, it's a great time.
I mean, way back when, people, a lot of the mushrooms that are psychoactive and non-psychoactive look very similar.
Yes.
And
yes,
people
they
would
do.
accidentally eat them.
Uh-huh.
And it would be a part of their diet. And that's why they work so well for us and whatnot. I mean,
Yes.
look at ergot turned into LSD. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole reason why the Salem witch trials happened and whatnot, because everyone was just tripping balls. You think I'm kidding? That's all ergot driven, which is LSD came from.
No, I've heard that.
I've
heard
actually
those
recently heard that's why Vikings were so brutal with all their stuff. Yep, because they just tripped balls the entire time. It's awesome.
So don't be like a Viking.
Yeah, don't be like a Viking. But it gave them that energy, like the less of like, the seeing the light, seeing like everything, and just being able to like just pull together everything that you didn't necessarily think you had power to do. Clearly not for the greatest thing, but like, you don't want to go to war with it, but then it's definitely to just be able to pull yourself together on a day-to-day thing and be like, I've got this. Like, I totally can do this. Like, it's amazing. It really helps people.
But it is a good metaphor for people going through stuff too, like maybe just because that Viking was going through a physical issue at the time doesn't mean it's not great for the mental side. I mean, I've used mushrooms for years now. I'm a huge fan of them.
I love them.
Maybe three or four times a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're going through something yourself, I think the perspective aspect of mushrooms is what helps so much.
Right.
Because you remove your ego and yourself from the situation, and you're able to look at it from a different angle.
Right. Well, as long as you do it within, like, kind of know your limit, because I will say there was just one time that I had an awful trip, but I was just like, oh, it's not kicking in, and next thing I know, the bag's gone. And so it was a lot. It wasn't the greatest. So make sure you do it responsibly. But that's being young and stupid.
I've never.
And it's like, I've never done that before.
Well, I mean, that's with just understanding, because there is no education on it.
No, there's none. You've
no
got to
education.
learn, and it's very quiet, and that's why I love talking to people about it, and why I'm so passionate, because I don't even care, like, don't even grab my product, like, let me recommend to you, like, maybe X, Y, and Z products will help you and stuff, because there's not enough education out there. You want to get all the black market products like out of there, and I truly want people, because I hate hearing people who are like, oh my God, I did use psilocybin, or I did use cannabis and stuff, and it didn't help me at all, or it did this and that. It's like, because you're not being educated. So let me educate you. Don't even take my product. Let me help you on something that, like, well, that's the reason why that one didn't do it. Because people don't know. You have to make sure it's third party tested. You have to like make sure it's like at the actual levels that it's saying on, your product and stuff. And so I love teaching it to people and talking about it.
Yeah. Anything you do incorrectly, no matter how good it is, could have a negative benefit if you're not using it
correctly. Yeah.
Precision medicine. Yeah. The right treatment for the right person at the right time. Definitely get a professional. You being in this, do you get a chance now to, you're talking about it. You're obviously, having these conversations on a daily basis. Are you involved in the discussions on how to prescribe it to people? Or
Absolutely. Not just people, animals as well. But that's also why I said, like, with me doing the DMT, I want to find a clinic that I could go to, because this is something new for me. So that's why I love helping people, because I can help them. I can explain to them how to use it and stuff, how to properly dose. Everybody says, if you're trying to do it to really actually help you and not get a stoned feeling, which once again is all of our stuff's THC free, you start low and go slow, because you don't want to overstart it and then be like, okay, well, it kind of it made me feel a little off, or I don't really know, because you don't know strains. So I maybe ended up using too much and it made me too sleepy or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I say is start low and go slow, because if you're microdosing with CBD, any of that other stuff, you can really know your levels where it works best, not only for your body, but for your productiveness. No one's going to be productive if they're all on Stativa and they've got munchies sitting on the couch all day.
Eating the bag of Ruffles,
Right?
watching reruns of
Friends.
Friends.
That was not me at all.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Oh, Joey.
I haven't seen one episode.
You uncultured swine.
I was more of a Seinfeld guy myself.
Oh, I did like Seinfeld too. I did
Yeah.
watch them both. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you?
I watched them both. Yes.
Oh, that's
I
a
was into them
rarity.
all.
Most people pick one or the other.
It's I binge watched them all. So
Kind of going back through while you were talking. I had this thought about regrowing these neural pathways. I think this kind of crosses over into addiction too. Whether we're talking. What Trip is big on sugar, the sugar conversation, which needs to be addressed,
don't get me on
which is a whole nother pandemic of
it's awful. It's awful.
of gosh, they're putting sugar in fructose syrup and aspartame and fake sugar and everything.
It's awful.
So yeah, you gotta find that. But alcoholism, drugs, all this. We're finding ways to regrow these neural pathways because a lot of times, how often do you get somebody coming into you that has panic attacks?
Oh, I mean, a couple times a week, literally,
Right?
and stuff. Yeah, and a lot of it is based off of what you feed your body. So yeah, it is the sugars and everything. You gotta redo all those receptors. In your head.
Well, and I do think, adding on to what you guys are saying, let's say someone like me who was on Adderall for years, and my brain was fried.
Oh
Was
yeah,
fried,
absolutely.
The cortisol build up, the anxiety build up. If you weren't on it, you couldn't focus, and we get in this loop of it. That's normal.
Oh yeah.
Right. And a lot of these products that you're talking about help with things like attention span and anxiety and depression.
1,000,000%. And that's
whatnot.
something that was also with why I wanted to do and help people of all ages, because something even like that for ADD, ADHD, any of that stuff, there are a lot of parents who now are I don't like how my kid reacts. I don't like any of that stuff on it. Give them CBD. Any form of CBD and stuff, start low, go slow. You can find their entire thing and stuff. It is night and day, 100%. And I have people that what they'll do is first thing in the morning, just as a multivitamin and stuff, they give it to their kid before they go off to school. The moment that they get home, they get another one because it's enough time to kind of wear off a little bit, and then they're done for the rest of the day. And it's just they feel like they have their kid back.
Right. Sorry, go ahead.
Just what kind of problems are they addressing? ADHD type of behavior?
Yeah, well, really being able to focus, not disturb the rest of the class, to be able to actually take what they're being taught in class and actually get it in their brain and stuff to where they can reuse it instead of it just going in one ear and out the other and stuff. They can sit down. They're it's insane. They're learning better and stuff because they have more concentration and stuff. And it's something that is all natural. That's good for them. No psychoactive, no nothing. And people don't have to worry that their kids pretty much drugged out of their mind all day.
Yeah.
What scares me with all that kind of stuff too is there's two different kinds of dependency: chemical, and physical dependency.
Yep.
You feel both on those prescription pills.
Yeah.
The physical, and it was hard getting off of Vyvanse and Adderall.
Oh, I'm sure.
Terribly hard.
The mental is so much harder than the physical.
Yeah, you can get off the physical stuff pretty easy, but the mental stuff is hard because you're yelling at yourself.
Yeah.
It's like I need to keep taking this to make sure I feel okay.
Yeah.
And again, going back to that normalcy factor.
Yeah.
Right. Now I feel normal. And there's a way you can feel clean without the high of it with these products. Right.
Exactly, and stuff. And that's exactly what. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love some THC from time to time and stuff. But
From time to time.
Yeah, from time to time. As like an adult, especially because since I don't take, that alcoholic beverage at the end of the day to like relax or anything else, like yes, I will have some actual THC, but having the CBD and stuff like 100%, like it takes you off of all that and it gives you're clear headed. Like you can think you're not on, like you said, all the chemicals and stuff to tell you otherwise.
Man, I've seen so much physical improvement from people shifting their mental focus. So, you're talking about the psychoactives, you're talking about whatever these are, but from shifting their mental focus and trying to be happy, right? Finding and studying. I think there should be a happiness, and I'm being very serious, a happiness class in high school and college. Yeah. What are the things that are essential to creating perfect harmony, balance inside your body?
Right.
Why are we not teaching that? So from exercise to learning an instrument to finding your purpose to giving back, these are all things. And I've seen people that are living great lives that can't mentally appreciate and be grateful enough. And so if these CBD or the psilocybin, if these, or even you're talking about the DMT, if they give an opportunity to get maybe an addict away from their addictive behavior, to start to find ways. So these two are just tools. We're individually prescribing them, and they're the vehicle that gives addictive behaviors a chance to rewire their brains. There's a fantastic book by Daniel Coyle. It's called The Talent Code, and he goes into the physiology of rewiring these myelin sheathing. So if you're listening to this and you're a bookie, get on there and read this book. But it goes into exactly physiologically these things that that you're doing, that you're giving people the opportunity to get away from Adderall, Vyvanse, these other medications that Oxycontin, all these
oh my gosh, that's
Dilaudid,
awful. Dilaudid, fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
I mean, fentanyl's awful and stuff. Yeah.
And these are long time drugs. I mean.
That's how addiction starts with these introductions, and they're not safe.
Yeah.
I mean, like I know what prescription pills could do because I've seen it in my household. Yeah. So when I was in the hospital the past decade or 15 years, they're like, here, I can hear some Dilaudid or whatnot. Here, take home. I'm like, nope. Any painkillers I do at the hospital, stay here. I'm not taking them home. Because once it breaches that door, just like with those fruit snacks or with bad food or bad stuff bringing it home, it's now becoming a habit.
Yeah,
man. One of the biggest, I think, out of all the addictions, what am I thinking of? Food addiction. Dude, I've never seen the depth of addiction that food addiction. I don't know why. It just is such a brutal, like people that have been masking stuff with their food addiction. Maybe just touch on some ways like around like what the steps are to how they can address.
Well, just to give some clarity on how deep the issue is. 12. Again, that might be a little off on the numbers with the points, but 12.something% of us die from cancer. Yeah. Right. It's a pretty hefty amount.
Yes.
Pretty hefty amount. 24% of us die from cardiovascular disease alone. Obesity related diseases. So the scope of what we're talking about is insane, and we're not talking about the solutions to it.
Right.
And the solutions are what you're getting at too is educational based.
Yeah, you have to, because we've been told for so many years that it's so bad. So you have to re-educate people and like come with your receipts. You need to come with like talking about different books or different studies. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
Well, and look, we talk about this all the time, the food pyramid. Like, what a joke.
Oh my God,
like,
that's awful.
Straight up joke. It's like, well, simple carbohydrates at the top. Companies didn't do this. And then like 25 years later, we're all like, well, why did we even listen to that to begin with? Yeah. And it's because we're being told other things. So the ways that we really need, the ways we fix this is we need to self-educate ourselves with reputable sources and the right professionals. That's number one. Is find the right. Stop getting all of your crap from Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
You know, find places.
As we post this on Instagram and Facebook.
but like and share.
Get your information. You can, yeah, we'll do some information.
We're also going to do LinkedIn.
That's right.
The more reputable source.
Yes. I like that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like for people that are doing, like, you know, we're doing blogs, podcasts. You know, we wrote a book. Find people that are doing those kind of things instead of just someone who's got a ton of followers on Instagram who sells like programs to people. This is not a popularity-driven contest.
No, it is not.
Right. So it's finding the right people, not the people that are the loudest.
Right, exactly. Well, and it's about just, I don't know, I enjoy being like a decent human being. Like, just do good for other people. Like, do good for good people. Like, you just keep being nice and pass it on. So take what I'm saying. Don't take what I'm saying. But I hope that you would at least, you know, be open-minded to it and stuff. And then, like, you just kind of, like, leave from there and stuff. And, like, hope that you do something where somebody does, even anybody listening to this podcast, that hopefully, even if it's one person, they take it and they're like, maybe I should try it. Like, maybe this might be, like, a good idea. And just even one person to change their mind or do something, like, that's one more step in the right direction.
Right, driving new perspectives.
Yes.
Right, that is so big for this podcast. Is driving new perspectives.
Oh, yeah.
Whatnot, right, finding healthier ways to for pain management, healthier ways to figure out all these prescription medicines we're on, healthier ways for protein. I mean, we use hemp more for protein powders now than we ever have.
Yes, I love hemp seeds.
Right, so even digestion with that kind of stuff. So finding things throughout life that are multi-use that have low risk.
Yes.
Right, like I don't think anyone's ever died from CBD or
no,
cannabis.
you like literally, it's not scientifically possible. You can't even die of any form of cannabis, even with THC. You may be tripping really bad and feel you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. You literally cannot smoke enough or ingest enough to kill yourself.
Right, so
it's awesome.
And then
That's going on the back of every package.
Yeah, right.
well, and then people like me, like, you know, my mom was not well educated on prescription medicine,
Right.
and used to give me ibuprofen every single day. It's like take it every single day, and next thing you know, I had an ulcer.
Yeah. Yes. Right? They don't tell you about, like, that literally kills your gut lining.
Wow.
Yeah.
Completely. So I was in the hospital in and out for that kind of stuff, and they're like, well, what happened? I was like, well, you know, I take ibuprofen every day. He's like, well, why do you do that?
Right.
Like, well, that's what Mama told me.
Right. Well,
Mama was wrong again.
Yeah, right. Oops.
No, Colonel Sandals, you're wrong.
Well, and it's not even just that. It's even like for decades they've been pushing even something like smoking, and we've learned over time. Like back in the day, like, you know, my grandparents are smoking cigarettes when they're pregnant with our parents and everything else and stuff. Like, they're all doing that. But then they learn, like, no, it causes lung cancer. It does all this stuff. And so now it's a matter of combating, you know, like what they're trying to do, like the Juul and everything else, like that form of vaping with the tobacco, because it's so bad for you and stuff. So then it's a matter of doing that, but it's about getting educated. So now it's like people are really learning. It's re-educating people like that. Maybe some of this other stuff isn't great. Like maybe, you know, like Eastern medicine, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thousands of years of success.
Thousands of years. It's weird.
A few years of practice. But, you know, I think a topic we keep on getting back to here is self-education.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Finding the right places.
Yeah.
Right. So where can and I'm going to give you a plug here later too, is where can people find some literature information on your products, maybe CBD in general, psychoactives?
So we do have our shop. It's relaxandcbd.shop. And so we do a lot of things like that. We do have a bunch of followers because we do especially on Facebook with our site on Facebook, Relax and CBD. We do multiple podcasts a week. So I do one with my business partner where we just kind of go back and forth and like just run things off of each other, kind of go over different marketing things. We do one where we also bring people in so that we've got other speakers, people, testimonials, different things like that of clientele that actually uses it. And then I have been starting one where not only do I touch base on different products that we have currently, but other ones that are really good in like how it affects you, like why it affects you. So just more of that actual cannabis education in general and stuff. So we try really hard to do a lot of that stuff. And I get tons of like messages and stuff. Like people reach out to me all the time, and I get back to literally every single one. Because if you're taking time out of your day to get actual help, like I will absolutely find time in my day to give back and help educate you.
Yeah, you're on a mission, and you can tell that nothing's gonna slow you down.
No.
You've been doing this for.
You think the marijuana would, but it doesn't. It's not slowing you down. See, it's all those bad things. It doesn't slow you down.
And I don't know if I've ever met anybody quite as happy as well.
Oh.
Such a lovely disposition.
Thank you.
Which makes this conversation all that much more enjoyable. So what's going on with Relax and CBD on the forefront? What are you planning next?
Oh my God, we have so much stuff for that. I'm so excited. So we are expanding on a risque line and stuff. So that's our only line that is actually infused with pheromones. It was, I formulated that because one of my older clientele gentlemen had taken, and he allows me to talk about it. He's actually very proud about it.
Signed off on it.
Yeah, I'm like, he got the okay for it. He popped a Viagra and was in the mood, and his hip and knee were going out, and then he's still in the mood, but he can't do anything, and it was this whole thing. So I actually formulated our risque line with it's infused with pheromones, so it keeps sexy time going, but then you have all the CBD that helps counteract any of that other stuff, and it just if it's a newer relationship or anything else, it kind of calms you a little bit more. So there's so many different uses for it, but we've expanded on that line. We currently just rolled out, it's called Beard or Bush Oil. It's meant for coarse hair.
I love it.
So
I love
Don't
it.
grow the beard back, Trip.
No, I want to.
So it's but it's for the coarser hair. It helps soften it. It has the pheromones, so it's really good. And then we're coming out with, we've got our sex chocolates and stuff. So that will also have stuff just like how I talked about earlier, not only CBD, different mushrooms like ashwagandha, because that helps with the libido, and amongst other ingredients that, once again, we're doing everything natural, making it super healthy. So we've got that coming out. And then we also are bringing out an entire coffee line. So we have got it kind of like what it would be a tea bag, but it's actually coffee. So it's
nice.
like a French press and everything else and stuff where you steep it for a while. Wow. But it's infused with CBD. And what's great is that we've been able to work with people who are like hikers, who travel, who outdoorsmen, just different things like that. But it's great because you can get all the good stuff from like the caffeine, like the more energy, more, just kind of perk you up without any of the anxiety, without shaking or anything else, because you got the CBD to counteract any of those. So we have that coming out along with tinctures that will help accentuate your coffees, like hazelnuts, vanilla, different things like that. So then if you decide to have like your own coffee, or you don't necessarily want that specific brand, that you still have something that you can add to your own coffee that will accentuate it, or tea. Wow. And it's great. It helps with all those, so you don't get jitters. And it's great for like college kids and stuff if they're like constantly studying and they've got to stay up, because it's bad for their heart, and it's bad for, they're just shaking and everything else. And so it helps take the good properties of the caffeine, but then without all the negative effects, the CBD counteracts it. So it's fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy.
So I've got those coming out currently.
This is this is a whole, you're branching into so many different realms.
Also our animal tinctures. We are expanding because we have a salmon oil-based one now that helps their skin and their coats. We're actually coming out with peanut butter and bacon flavored. So yeah, we're expanding the animal line as well too. So
this is crazy. I was going to ask you, Trip, is there a way to test? With genetics and with is there a way to test in genetics and to see any of, if maybe these products are recommendable, or is that not a thing yet?
I had to do a little more research. I assume every different kind of CBD, THC, or whatever have you, whatever chemical compound is testable on how we're able to digest and absorb it. So I'd say the probability is at 95% that you could do that. I don't know if the test is out there yet. The test that we have might actually have something on if we're are susceptible or predisposed to be able to have cannabis or whatnot.
That would be
Right.
wild if you could nail it down to like, oh, okay, here's how you should structure your CBD usage for you or your pet. But gosh, what a
Well, that's what pharmaceutical drug companies are doing now. They're figuring out genetic tests of
Right.
how each. I don't see why not for her. It'd be a perfect.
Oh, I
perfect
think that would
farm.
be amazing.
yeah. If pharmaceutical industry got on board and stopped being a-holes, that'd be amazing, right? If they if
Because
money
they really do certain medications. We were talking about this earlier. Certain things that genuinely actually help people, but then it's also about the bottom line, the dollar amount, everything else. So then they are also pushing not great things as well that are making you sick and aren't good.
Well,
yeah.
They did get on board or not. I mean, AOL is a great reference. It's like.
Oh yeah.
And with UPS, it's like, well, I mean, like, they both didn't think that anything else is going to catch on, and then next thing you know, they're dinosaurs.
Yeah. Oh.
Can you imagine going to the doctor and him prescribing like sunlight, going for a walk in barefoot, go for a hike, call your
Ground
old friends,
yourself. Oh, yeah.
like all these like things that are like there's no money in it, right? Like, can you imagine that? That's a world I want to live in.
Well, that's what we're trying to build here with this
Yeah.
That's
podcast,
100%.
Yeah,
totally
just make
true.
it healthy and like in a better way, helping everybody else around us.
Well, and I want to go back to, as we're wrapping things up a little bit, you're asking, why do we not teach this in school?
Yeah.
It's because we can't quantify it.
Yes.
They can't grade it or whatnot, and that's the kind of educational system that we have here. So hopefully us having these kind of conversations, we can fix that's the education system, because that's what's broken here.
Yes.
That's
Great point.
Yeah.
Wow.
both of our issues. Thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you.
We had such a blast with you. We were
I had a lot
smiling,
of fun.
laughing here. We got to learn a little bit. We do want to know, like, you've got your products down.
Yeah.
Where we can find you, your podcast, your website.
Yeah,
Gi-
like
give us the
we
whole
do.
spiel.
It's relaxandcbd.shop. Like I said, we're inside tons of stores across the nation, different places. We also ship across the entire country and stuff. So if you do go online and stuff and you order there, I'll ship to you. You can also message on there, and I will, like I said, I get back to every single person and stuff. I can recommend products. It is legal no matter what, because it's just pure CBD, no THC. So you don't have to worry if you're like in a state that they don't necessarily touch base on THC yet or anything else. That is something else that I absolutely want to push to you. Do not be dissuaded by ever trying any form of CBD, because you're going to be tested. If it is pure CBD, you've checked that it's been third-party tested. I'm telling you, it's not only will help change your life for the better, but it's something that, like, my husband is a cop. He can sit there and take it. I've got a son getting ready to sign to a professional hockey team and stuff. He's able to take it because they are drug tested. They're doing these different things. It does not come up, and it helps give you all those health properties without any of the psychoactive. So you can do it. And so don't be dissuaded by that. No, so don't say I've got my CDL license and I'll lose it. Like, like if anything, please just try it and just know. And if you don't believe me, it's going to be in your system for upwards of 30 days. Take a CBD, give it 24 hours, and take a pee test. You can get them really cheap at Walmart and stuff to see if you even pop hot.
GNC.
Test it yourself. Yeah. You'll have no THC in your system. I promise you that. But please don't be dissuaded from such an amazing product for your own health.
Well, and you're going to be here for a grand opening, right?
I will be here for your grand
You're here for
opening.
a grand opening. So if you
Yeah.
guys want to come talk to her about anything that we went over
Absolutely.
today,
Come out.
come down August 12th to Ascend Performances grand opening. We're gonna have amazing vendors
Yes,
like
I'm
you coming
excited.
in. We're having some grand prize. We're also giving away a retail at $500 genetic test from Gene Planet.
Nice.
Yeah, we're doing a little raffle base. So we have on my profile or on his or whatnot. There's a little post.
Mm-hmm.
Every 2 people you tag, friends that you tag, is 1 raffle ticket.
Oh, see, that's amazing.
No limits if you
Yeah.
if you want to put and whatnot. So we'll be giving that away. Make sure you guys go to ascendperformancetraining.com/blog to check out Brett's amazing blogs. He's going to have a follow-up blog today.
Nice.
Kind of talking about what we're talking about a little bit, summarizing some things, and also give you another chance to backlink your stuff as well.
Oh, thank you.
Give it a double backlink. We got to get that SEO up.
Is that right?
Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and please go give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple and everywhere else that we're shown.
Right.
Every little bit helps. Make sure you guys are going checking out her products, Relax and CBD. Go follow her on Instagram. There's a link on our Facebook page to her stuff if you guys can't find it.
Yep.
And we will backlink it in the description.
Oh, thank
too
you.
as well.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
What a great send off that was. Fantastic.
That was.
And then
Beautiful.
go buy my book.
Yeah.
Find it on Amazon. It's called Health Profiling. And that'll be the last plug. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
by.
you,
It's
guys.
an amazing day.
Good time.
All right, guys. Thank you, and we will see you later. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.